is another picture-perfect weather night in downtown Cincinnati, and we welcome you to Great American Ballpark, where this 9-game homestand continues, and it wraps up with the first of 3 against division rival Chicago. And hi again, everybody. Back with the mayor, Sean Casey. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds Baseball. Now, we talked about it yesterday that Mike Leake was supposed to have started the game here tomorrow night, with Chad Reineke starting tonight. But we speculated all along, Sean, it would indeed be Edinson Volquez coming back up from the minor leagues, and now we know that's exactly what's going to happen.
And I think Volquez is going to be the key to this staff, getting back. He went down to the minor leagues, trying to get his control back and throwing strikes, and it looks like he did. Hopefully he comes back up here and is able to throw strikes and pound the strike zone. Mike Leake, too, this is another guy. This is a guy, if he keeps the ball in the ballpark, he's very effective with his sinker, his cutter, and all the stuff he has. So he got moved up in the rotation. But 2 key guys right here, Tommy, Mike Leake and Volquez. And as we talked about before, Volquez right here went down, worked on some mechanical things, trying to get the ball back in the strike zone. Too many walks this season, putting guys on base, having tough first innings. Volquez needs to come back and be the guy that everyone thinks he can be.
So Leake tonight, Volquez tomorrow night. You saw Arroyo in the series finale on Wednesday. And in town come the Chicago Cubs. They've lost 6 in a row. They have Carlos Zambrano blowing up in St. Louis. We'll talk about that in a moment. State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. By your local Ford dealer. Ford, drive one. By the Regional Tourism Network. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline, whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Boy, just a lovely night for baseball. What about the rest of the night? Let's check in with our main man, Tim Hedrick.
Oh, I got to admit, I love the Cubs growing up. Banks, Beckert, Kessinger, Sano, Randy Hundley behind the plate, Fergie Jenkins on the mound, Billy Williams, Pepitone. How about Jose Cardinal? Hate the Cubs now. It'll be warm down at the ballpark. Have a good time. Choke up. Put the ball into play. Don't strike out so much. Fox Sports Ohio.
Well, this guy's not been striking out 2 games in a row, Sean Casey. Albert Pujols beats the Cubs to win the game.
Oh, you want to talk about getting hot. This guy's starting to get hot, but the Cubbies felt the wrath of Albert Pujols 2 days in a row. Obviously, you saw it there on Saturday, and then Sunday they said, hey, let's try and pitch to him again and see what happens. You know what happened? Walk off one more time. He's legit.
That's 51 career home runs for Albert Pujols against the Chicago Cubs. 51 against one team.
That's unbelievable. He has had their number his whole career.
Well, the Reds are ready. The Cubs are ready. We know you're ready. Mike Leake against Matt Garza. Opening game of this series. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. Offensively, just moments away from the first pitch in the opener of this 3-game series. Time now for our Farmers Insurance report card. Getting out of the first inning has been quite an ordeal for each of these teams. The Cubs have given up 43 runs. They've been outscored by 10. The Reds have given up the most first inning runs in all of baseball. They've been outscored by 18 runs. So that's something to keep an eye on, literally, from the get-go tonight. Mike Quaddy's starting lineup tonight as Kosuke Fukudome in right, Darwin Barney at second, Starlin Castro the shortstop, Carlos Pena in a cleanup spot, Aramis Ramirez at third, and Blake DeWitt, second baseman turned left fielder for the injured Alfonso Soriano. Giovanni Soto catching, Tyler Colvin playing for the injured Marlon Byrd, and Matt Garza 2 up 4 down, but a good ERA, is on the mound and starting it for the Reds, making his 9th start, his 12th overall appearance, is right-hander Mike Leake. Leake pitched against the Cubs 3 times last year and threw the ball very, very well. Got 2 wins and a no decision. Pitched a total of 19 2/3 innings, allowed 7 earned runs. That's a 3.2 ERA. Well, he's looking for more of the same here tonight and trying to get the Reds in the win column. Something they've not done their last 2 games. And it's ball 1 outside to Fukudome, and we're underway. Fukudome, a 300 batter, but only 2 home runs and just 6 runs batted in. 1-1. Told you the Cubs really come limping into this series. They have lost 6 consecutive games. And the last 2 games, particularly in heartbreak fashion, to the St. Louis Cardinals. There's a jam shot flare into center field. A base hit by Fukudome to begin the ballgame. Take a look at the Reds on defense, brought to you by Ford. Johnny Gomes back out there in left field. Stubbs in center, Bruce in right. Again, Cairo for Scott Rowland, suffering from strep throat. He figures to be back tomorrow. And Ryan Hannigan hanging the signs for Mike Leake.
Saw Scotty Rowland today before the during BP, and he looks like he's struggling. He's definitely under the weather. You can tell he's battling something.
Well, now Darwin Barney was very impressive when the Reds saw him 3 games in Chicago and a couple of games here. A rookie out of Oregon State University at .296 with a home run, 25 runs batted in for Darwin Barney. Cubs not much of a running team. They're not much of a bunting team. I mean, it pretty much boils down to the fact that they sit around and wait on the home run ball, and for them, unfortunately, the home run ball doesn't come very often.
It's not coming. You know they're not good. They're not good enough of a team to not do the little things right to win ball games. You can't just sit back and wait for Soriano, and who is obviously out right now, and Pena and those guys to come up with the 3-run bombs. Night in, it's going to win you some games, Tommy, but night in and night out, you got to play ball. You got to do the little things, move runners, and get those guys in. That's how you end up winning ball games.
Reds 4-1 so far this year against Chicago, and they'll tell you they should be 5-0. The only game they lost, as it's bunted foul by Barney, was a game where Francisco Cordero came in with a chance to save a game on a Saturday at Wrigley and lost the game in the bottom of the 9th inning. Of course, the Cubs will tell you they allowed 7 unearned runs in the 2-game sweep here on the last homestand. Short lead over there by Fukudome, and the 1-2 to Barney is on the ground. This should start a double play. There's one, and just in time is Barney up the line to beat the throw. No hesitation there from Leake. He broke to the bag right away.
Well, obviously, he's a great athlete. We know that from his college days. But you see Joey Votto makes a nice play here. Coming off the bat. This is a tough ball right here from a right-hander. Gets that in-between hop. Nice play. Makes a real nice throw over there to Giannis. And Mike Leake does a great job of getting over there. Right off the bat, he busts over there. Great athlete right there in Mike Leake, but gets over there in time and just saved. Barney got down the line a little too fast.
Barney 3 out of 5 in stolen base attempts. He's at first with 1 out, and now Starlin Castro, who came up, of course, and made his major league debut right in this very ballpark. Homered in his very first at bat and knocked in a major league record for a major league debut. 6 runs in a game. That was last May.
Good looking young player right here. This kid can flat out hit. Defensively, he's still learning, but making his mistakes, taking his bumps. But this guy can flat out swing it, and as seen right now, hitting .306, driving in 25 runs. Good looking young hitter.
Castro had a remarkable month of April. Really got quiet in May. But still, his overall season number is pretty good. That's off the end of the bat, and Stubbs not going to get there. Barney picked it up all the way, and he advances first to third.
Good read right there by Barney. Ball's off the end of the bat. He knew it was diving in. Stubbs tries to deke him coming in from center, but Barney makes a great read. Knows this is going to fall in right here off the end of the bat. Barney reads it, looks at Stubbs, realizes he's not going to get to it. Got to get to third base with only 1 out. Cubs are looking good being the first and third. But watch Barney here. Takes a look, reads it, sees Stubbs' reaction right there, knows it's going to fall in, and gets to third base. Nice job of base running.
So they're on the corners with only 1 out, and here's Carlos Pena. Talked about the problems each of these teams has had in the first inning. And now Leake looking for that double play ball off the bat of Pena to get out of this inning unscathed. Pena 217 has 8 home runs and 26 runs batted in. Pena has 3 of his home runs against the Reds, and all 3 have come on first pitch fastballs. 1-1.
You know, Carlos Pena, too, is a guy that's not going to hit for a high average. He's going to hit you a bunch of home runs and drive you in runs. I think at the beginning of the year, he was struggling a little bit out the gates. The Cubs are probably thinking, what do we have? We're watching this guy year in and year out. He's going to hit you 230, 240 maybe, but he's going to hit you close to 30 home runs and drive in 100 runs. So this is the kind of guy, feast or famine for Carlos Pena. You don't want to make a mistake with him.
Reds play him the pull in the infield, and there's a fly ball plenty deep enough to bring in the run from third. Gomes prepares for the throw, but Barney runs well. Throw will go into second. So get Pena to sac fly RBI, and the Cubs lead in the first inning, 1-0.
That's how you driving over 100 runs right there. You pick those runs up first and third. You just get a little sac fly ball you can handle. Get yourself a ribby.
Runner at first, 2 men out, a run home, and now it's a third baseman, Aramis Ramirez. Batting average pretty good at .294, but only 2 home runs in 51 games for Aramis Ramirez and 21 runs batted in. And he's been batting cleanup virtually every game. Sometimes in a 3-hole, every now and again like tonight in a 5-hole. But they are wondering, where was that guy knocking in 100 runs seemingly every year for almost a decade?
You've seen it the past couple of years. His power has really gone down. He's not driving the ball the way he used to. And he used to drive the ball deep to center field too. Big time power. It's just doesn't have that same pop that he's had early in his career.
Runner goes, and it's popped up. Shallow right field. Jay Bruce coming in to get it, and that's a scoring first inning for Chicago. Cubs 1, Reds coming to bat.
Authority of the Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Reds coming to bat, bottom of the first inning, trailing the Cubs 1-0. Let's take a look at Dusty Baker's starting lineup tonight. Bruce Stubbs in center, Brandon Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first. Jay Bruce, a right fielder, batting cleanup. Johnny Gomes out in left, Miguel Cairo again at third. Ryan Hannigan bats seventh, followed by Paul Janisch and Mike Leake. Well, certainly the biggest offseason acquisition for the Cubs was this man right here, Matt Garza, making his 10th start. A very good 3.7 ERA, but only a 2-4 record.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt Garza, when you face him, this guy's got great stuff. Above average across the board with his cutter, his sinker. good four-seamer. He's got great stuff. But I tell you what, the thing you look at with pitchers, you see he's got 55 innings pitched and he's got 68 punch-outs. That means he's got some great stuff, and he can fill up that strike zone.
Garza, 27 years old. He had a 15-10 record a season ago with Tampa Bay and an ERA under 4. And boy, that's doing it when you're pitching in the American League East.
There's no doubt about it. Having faced this guy a few times, Tommy, he's got great stuff. I mean, he's got late action in the zone, and he fills it up when he really, and he'll come at you too. He'll come at you with all his pitches.
Strike one to Drew Stubbs. Reds saw Garza here on the 17th of May. In fact, they've seen him twice already this year. That was his last start in the major leagues going back to the 17th. Went 6 innings, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs unearned. Been bothered by a right elbow bone bruise. Swing and a miss, 1-2 on Stubbs. Garza originally came up with Minnesota, was there for a couple of years, and then 3 full seasons in Tampa Bay. Drew at 263, has 8 home runs and 25 runs batted in. He hit his 8th home run of the year yesterday. It was his first home run in nearly a month. He had 2 hits, was on base 3 times, and scored a couple of runs. That foul ball interrupting the nap of a bird sitting on the top of that screen. That bird was sitting
just
up
hanging
there
out
at a great seat, looking right down on Garza, right down on Stubbs, and bang.
Bam. He's just saying, what a nice day that this is out here. And boom.
Check swing and did not go around. Reminded me of just my night last night. You're in the middle of a deep sleep, and then you're getting poked in the chest by your 7-year-old little girl about 3A.
You didn't mind that, right?
Oh,
hey,
not at all.
doing?
Come on in.
Come on in. Let's wrestle.
2-2 to Stubbs. And he's gone swinging. 1 away. Chicago defensively, and there certainly are question marks all over the field, presented by Ford. DeWitt, a converted infielder playing in left field. Colvin just brought up from the minor leagues. And a battery of Garza and Giovanni Soto. One out, nobody on. And here's Brandon Phillips, 294 batter, 5 home runs, 33 batted in. Brandon had a couple of hits, couple of RBIs, scored a run yesterday in the loss to the Dodgers. 0-1. Talked about Garza making 2 starts against the Reds this season. The only one here he got the no decision. The game on the 6th of May against the Reds. They touched him up for 5 earned runs in 6 innings.
You know, Garza being in the American League his whole career, coming over to the National League, you're going to have those situations too, where you're getting to know lineups, getting to know hitters. How do you pitch guys first time around? And when you're facing this lineup, you're facing some pretty good hitters, and you got to figure out, how do you pitch Votto? How do you pitch Phillips? How do you pitch Bruce? Do they like to swing early in the count? Do they swing at fastball? So Garza's in that stage where he's coming over to the National League, and he's going to have to make some adjustments to these lineups.
Garza the kind of guy you really try and rattle the cage, so to speak. He's very explosive temperamentally. There's a one-hopper back to the mound. And there are 2 away here in the Reds' first inning. And we have seen that front and center in his 2 starts against Cincinnati this year. A when things aren't going well, I'm not saying the guy unravels, but he certainly gets very emotional out there on the mound.
Yeah, a lot of passion from Matt Garza. You know, you can take it either way. Sometimes you can take it, hey, this guy's a hothead. Sometimes, well, this guy really cares, and he's got a lot of passion for what he does. And I'll tell you what, he's a competitor, man. And I've seen him get fired up. He can go two ways. He can either get fired up and go one way, not like Z, but he can get fired up and lock things down. So, you know, he pitches with a lot of passion. Zambrano pitches with a lot of passion, and I think sometimes it really gets away from him. He'll tell you that, too.
Well, he really let his team have it yesterday after the game. Zambrano outpitched Chris Carpenter. What a duel that was. Cubs had a 2-1 lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning. And their closer, Carlos Marmol, with the Cardinals down to their final out, threw a slider to Ryan Theriot rather than a fastball. Theriot doubled to tie the game. The Cardinals would win the game in extra innings. And after the game, Zambrano let him have it. Yep. He questioned the pitch selection by Marmol. He said everybody knows Ryan Theriot's not a good fastball hitter, but we're throwing him sliders. We play like a AAA team. We stink, was the quote. Now, he came back today and apologized directly to Marmol. As far as the rest of it goes, didn't take any of it back.
Yeah, for me, if I'm a player, we all know in the dugout in the clubhouse we stink. You don't need to tell the media and all that stuff and air it out. You want to air it out, let's call a team meeting, and you can tell us about it and tell Marmol about it. You don't need to let it air it out on TV so that it becomes this big story, and next thing you know, it's a media frenzy that no one else in that clubhouse needs. You want to talk about it, call a team meeting and talk about it.
Well, you've been walking around telling everybody the last 2 days that we stink up here. You didn't call a team meeting.
Yeah, I did. I called a team meeting and said, let's go, guys. We're doing terrible up here.
Coincidentally, since you showed up on that 3-1 to Votto. And it swung on and fouled out. Yeah, well, you weren't around when his homestand began and the Reds beat the Brewers 2 out of 3.
I know. You're right, man. Come on. I'm trying to listen. If I get another W tonight, it's 2-1 in the booth. Let's go, Reds. Let's get some runs.
3-2 to count on Votto. 2 outs, nobody on. Down the right field line, hit hard but foul. Votto, the National League leader with that .338 batting average, 8 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Of course, he leads the world in walks and in on-base percentage. Trying to get on for Jay Bruce here in the Reds' first inning. He went around and that's out. So the Reds retired in order. End of 1. Cubs 1, Reds nothing. Elk and Elk Serious Lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. As many of you are probably aware, the Major League Baseball amateur draft underway about a half hour ago. Reds have a first-round pick and then a compensation pick. That'll take place right after the first round, between the first and second round. It's the latest the Reds have drafted in quite some time, based, of course, on their success a year ago. It's their lowest first-round pick ever, their lowest pick overall since Brett Tomko. There's a liner into right center field, a base hit by Casey Blake to begin the Chicago second inning, with the Cubs already leading 1-0.
Blake DeWitt right there gets a nice pitch. Ball just kind of comes down and in. Mike Leake doesn't bury it enough, but you see he kind of a split finger action, maybe sort of a changeup right here. Ball just doesn't have that late action, tails down right in his wheelhouse. Blake DeWitt does a great job of staying through that baseball.
You know, during the Major League draft, every team has a representative. It's been a great idea. Well, you have, former great players from all the different organizations. As that one is in the air and foul ground, Votto giving chase and runs out of room. Reds Hall of Famer Eric Davis is representing the organization at the draft tonight. Well, it's great having Eric Davis representing this organization. You take a look at the first 5 picks so far. And the Pirates, you were singing their praises before the game tonight.
Garrett Cole's a big, nice right-handed pitcher. They got a lot of big arms this year. They said there wasn't a clear-cut #1 pick as there was in Strasburg and Harper the last few years here. And the Pirates really could have gone with any one of those young arms, and Garrett Cole was the guy they felt like was the best arm in the draft. Pirates have really had a pretty good year this year. Clint Hurdle stepped in at the close to 500, not doing bad this year.
No, they're playing well. I mean, they got a couple of guys you were talking about it, and the Reds have seen it front and center. I mean, the Reds have only been to Pirates 1 time. Of the 6 games they have played so far this year. I mean, you look at Kevin Correa having an outstanding year. All of a sudden, Charlie Morton couldn't get anybody out last year. He's getting everybody out this year. And then James McDonald.
Yep.
A guy who can get you out.
That's been the big difference, is their starting pitching is better. And the bottom line is you win with starting pitching. You can see the Reds here have scuffled, have had some injuries to starting pitching. That's what wins. And the Pirates have had some decent starting pitching this year. And they're usually not around the 500 mark at this point in the season.
Soto, a .220 batter, has spent time on the disabled list, playing in just his 37th game tonight. Runner at first, nobody out. And this should be 2. Cairo, Phillips, that's a double play.
That's as tailor-made as you can see a double play right here. But Leake gets a little run on this fastball right here, a little sinker, one hopper right to Cairo, to Phillips, to Votto. Tailor-made.
That brings a number 8 hole hitter, center fielder Tyler Colvin, to the plate. My oh my, what a difference 1 year makes. Colvin last year was a talk of the entire Cubs organization. Had an unbelievable spring. Got off to a great start with a big league club. Lou Piniella wrestling daily to try and get him in the lineup in a very crowded, very expensive outfield. And Colvin played well. You may remember at the end of the year, he got hurt in a very ugly, gruesome injury. See, 20 home runs last year as a rookie. To spend most of this year in the minor leagues. And with this ground ball, he is 7 for 78 so far this year. Reds trail 1-0. They bat in the second. Dwayne Johnson. You called him what?
The Rock, baby. Is that Dwayne Johnson, the guy that's in the Big Fast Five?
Well,
movies?
if he lives out in Harrison, Ohio, it's the same guy. He currently drives a 2000 FJ Cruiser. He would win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark, and you can register for your chance to win it at an upcoming game by stopping by your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer.
They have to hit. How do they win that truck?
See the sign right between the tall stacks out there in right center field?
Oh, yeah.
If they hit that sign.
Bruce could hit that.
Oh, yeah. Votto nearly did. Hit it over the sign.
That doesn't
count. Game here last year, no. Hit it right between the tall stacks and signaled field goal when it went through.
When you hit it that far, you do whatever you want to do.
Cubs with a 1-0 lead. Jay Bruce to lead things off against Matt Garza here in the Reds' second inning. Jay to be followed by Johnny Gomes and Miguel Cairo.
You know what he should have done was the Australian rules one where you come out and you give it the guns. Bam! And it goes through the posts.
Really?
You don't know what I'm talking about?
You sit around late in Pittsburgh and watch Australian rules football?
That's like late night. When you got one of those channels, it's like the foreign channels, Australian rules football. The guy nails it, and the guy comes out with the two guns pointed. Like, it's good. Let's go, Brennan. Get out one time. Wake up. Quit going to bed at like 10:30. Just stay up a little later.
Generally, that's not been a problem.
Yeah, you're right.
2-1 the count on Jay Bruce. Into right field, and this baby's headed for the wall. Jay Bruce with a leadoff double to begin the Reds' second inning.
That's what he does so well. This ball is tailing almost outside off the plate. Look what that ball is down and away, but his swing kind of gets out and around the ball, and he drives it to right field. You see a lot of home runs Bruce hits too. He'll take that ball middle away, and he'll drive it out of the park right center. But right here, look at that. That ball is down and away. He hooks around it and rockets it into the corner. Performance Honda Exmo. Look at that.
Stay high.
Look at that right there, Tommy. Nailed it.
Chris Welsh has not said that all year long, and you're 3 for 3. I give it up.
See, exactly. Welshie, I know you're watching.
I know he's watching, too. I talked to him a little while ago.
Let's go. Clean it up. Get on that.
And 1 to Johnny Gomes. Tying run out at second base. Swinging a foul ball back and quickly 0-2. Gomes checks in at 185. 7 home runs and 20 runs batted in. Reds still looking for production out of that left field position. It certainly has been an eyesore so far this year.
There's 2 former teammates going at it too. Gomes and Garza played a few years together out there in Tampa.
Sean, why is it that during his entire career, Garza has been much better against left-handed batters than right-handed batters?
That's a great question. I mean, he's got a great cutter. He also has a good cutter against lefties, and he really comes inside against left-handed hitters. And, he's not afraid to pitch in there. So that could be one of the reasons why he has a lot of success against lefties.
Two to Gomes, and it's muscled into center field, a base hit, and this will tie the game. So Johnny delivers his first time up. Boy, that's nice to see. Everybody rooting like crazy for Johnny Gomes to get going.
No doubt about it. He's just got to get in that lineup and get some hits. But right here, this ball is a sinker coming in 94 miles an hour. Watch Johnny gets his hands inside the baseball, is able to muster it up the middle. Doesn't get it right on the barrel, but gets enough of it to get it up there. The pitch before that was 95 in on his hands that he fouled off. Garza came back with it, tried to get it in there, and Johnny did a great job of kind of looking for it and just getting his hands inside the baseball. Another former teammate over there is in Carlos Pena. They got a few Tampa Bay Rays out here tonight.
High runner at first, a run home, nobody out. Miguel Cairo, the batter. Strike one. Cairo at 291, 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. He started in place of Scott Rowland yesterday. Was 0 for 3 and walked twice. Garza has always been a big strikeout pitcher. A lot of teams are hesitant to play hit and run against Garza for that very reason. Even with guys who handle the bat well, guys like Cairo, guys like Hannigan.
You know, because he's got great secondary pitches. He's got a great curveball, great slider, above average sinker, cutter. He's got a bunch of big strikeout pitches. And you're right. You get a guy like this on the mound, you don't want to start hitting and running and doing stuff because you'll get a lot of strike him out, throw him outs.
One and two to Cairo. Swung on and fouled out of play. Despite the 0 for 3 yesterday, Cairo has swung the bat well here of late. 6 hits in his last 16 at bats, including 3 doubles. So the Reds are hoping that Rowland could be back in there as early as tomorrow night. But Cairo, generally, when he gets a chance to play, he'll do some things to try and help you win a game. He has been a very good addition to this Reds team going back to the start of last year.
He's as solid as they come in that role. He's had that role his whole career, you know, playing for the Yankees and a bunch of different other clubs, and he knows what's expected of him. So when Dusty Baker puts you in there and says, hey, you got to start tonight, he knows how to prepare mentally. Hey, you're coming in to double switch for defense, he knows how to prepare mentally. You're going to pinch hit late in the game, he knows how to prepare mentally. I mean, a guy like this on the team, a guy like Miguel Cairo, he's priceless for Dusty Baker because he can use him in so many different situations.
Trouble here. There's one, and they turn the double play. So 2 are out. Bases white, clean. Find out why the Big Ten commissioner says some tough questions are looming for Ohio State, and the latest sports news from around the state. It's only on FoxSportsOhio.com. 1-800-SAFE-AUTO and SafeAuto.com. Big Ten Commissioner Jim Delaney.
Terrell Pryor, he stays or leaves?
Stays.
He stays?
I do. What do you think? He's a Pennsylvania guy.
He is a Pittsburgh guy. He is a Pittsburgh. And I think he's going to leave. I don't think he's going to leave. I really don't know enough. But if I was him, I would leave. I mean, he suspended all those games, and I'd go become a receiver and go in the NFL. Because he's an unbelievable athlete.
No question.
He's unbelievable. I just don't think he's a quarterback in the NFL. But I'm not a scout, though.
Well, you talk like one.
I really don't know what I'm talking about, but that's.
I mean, you're the guy throwing around 450-pound tires in your backyard every morning with all your buddies.
You're right. You're right. You know, just for fun.
2-0 to Hannigan. And it's outside. 3 balls and no strikes. You really don't have a tire that weighs 450 pounds.
We really do. Yeah, you get it. My buddy got it from, it's like a tractor tire or something. And we flip it in the mornings. It's awesome. You just fly into Pittsburgh. I'll pay for your flight. You can work out with me tomorrow, Wednesday morning. But if you get stuck under the tire, I'm not flipping that thing off. I'm walking away.
I knew that already. 3-1 on Ryan Hannigan. Bases empty. A run home. A 1-1 affair here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And there's a 2-out walk. First walk issued by either pitcher tonight. Of course, that is something that has really hurt both of these teams. The Reds lead all of baseball in the most walks issued, and Dusty Baker talked about that at length following the game yesterday and again before the game today. That is something that just has to get straightened out pronto.
Yeah, in the big leagues, you're not going to win. You walk guys and don't let them earn their way on, or you make errors behind your pitchers, you're just not going to win ball games. And as a pitcher, you need to come in. As a hitter, from a hitter's point of view, just hitting that pitch down the middle is not always easy to square up. And I think sometimes you see pitchers up there that come in, they're trying to trick guys with a slider here off the plate. Sometimes when you just come at guys, they're not going to square you up every time, and you fill up that strike zone, you'll get more outs than you think.
Paul Giannis had a nice game yesterday, had 3 hits and 5 at bats, scored a run. Fastball in the outside corner evens the count to Paul Giannis, a .229 batter without a home run and 16 driven in. The St. Louis Cardinals have a night off tonight. They'll go on the road and open a series down in Houston, Texas tomorrow night. There's a roller back up through the middle, and Castro the feed to Barney, and that will retire the side. But the Reds get a run to tie it at 1 at the end of 2.
You don't have a regular rotation, number one, and number two, you want your guys to go deep in the ball game, which has been our problem most of the year. But once you get a semblance of a regular rotation, get your guys back, you can start, grooming them, programming them to go deeper in games, get their endurance up, and that's what we need big time.
Well, you hope you get all your pieces back in place. That's our Geico Direct quote from Dusty Baker, and then you take your chances. I mean, if you get beaten, all your guys are healthy and they're doing the best that they possibly can do, that's one thing. But, if you're playing short because of injuries, and there are a lot of teams out there that are beat up, that makes it tough.
Now, that's the biggest thing. This game's tough enough to play when you're healthy all year long and you have the rotation you thought you were going to have, and let these guys go out and do their thing. But when you've got guys going down, you're piecing in, bringing up guys into the rotation, you got guys that aren't doing well, and you send them down. I mean, that's when it gets tough for Dusty Baker and Brian Price to try to piece things together and still be consistent with that rotation.
Well, Matt Garza will lead things off here in the Cubs' third inning, 1-1 game. Haven't been a lot of smiling going on for Dusty Baker here the last 48 hours or so. That heartbreaking defeat on Saturday night where the Reds led going into the 8th inning 7-2. And they just got thumped yesterday.
Yeah, right out the gates. I mean, they just a tough start right out the gates. Mike Leake gets a nice cutter right here on Garza, just leaves him at the last second. You see this rotation right here. They just watch that thing just start tailing right there. If you're not really a hitter like Garza swings right there with it, not that great of a rotation on the bottom half, you're in trouble. But yesterday was just a day where they put up 7 runs in a hurry. You know, Travis Wood didn't have his best stuff, and you know, really labored through a few of those innings, and the game looked like it was over before it even started.
Kosuke Fukudome led off the ball game with a single in the center field.
You watch Fukudome's leg. Watch, he doesn't have the leg kick anymore. He just kicks out. You know, the last few years he had that big leg kick, rides up, like the Japanese style where he rides in the box and then hits it. But this year he's just got this little small. Watch, he doesn't even lift his front foot up. He almost like just rides on the ground. Watch, rides that ground. That's why he's hitting higher for average, like you're seeing right here. He's hitting those line drives to left, line drives to right, like he did that first at bat. But like you said, Tom, he's got 2 home runs, only 6 RBIs. He's not really driving the baseball like he usually does. Usually he picks his front foot up. Watch this thing. He bumps it back and then still rides the ground, which allows him not so much movement. See how he stays back on the ball? His head doesn't move as much, so he's getting more hits, but he's not driving the baseball like he was in years past.
Well, now Barney bounced into a fielder's choice on a one-hopper at Votto, was able to leg out the return throw to the covering Mike Leake, and then Barney went to third on a single by Castro and scored the only Cub run on a fly ball to left by Carlos Pena.
You think his parents knew he was going to be a big leaguer? That's a pretty cool big league name, Darwin Barney.
Well, he tells the story all the time when he was playing in the minor leagues and they were bouncing around. You know, when they play on the road, they'd always play that song from the cartoon character Barney.
Barney?
Yeah.
I love you,
right.
You love me. We're one happy family. Is that how it goes?
That's exactly how it goes. That pitch hit Barney. Runner was going. And boy, did Ryan Hannigan make a great throw. I mean, it barely got a piece of Barney. So now the Cubs have 2 on with only 1 out here in the 3rd.
Great throw by Hannigan. This sinker right 2-seamer just gets away a little bit. Ooh, that didn't hit him. And the real question was, if it hit him, it would have changed direction into Hannigan's body. It went right into his glove. If that hit Barney's arm, it would have shot down probably. Hannigan doesn't catch and throw out Fukudome right there.
Dana DeMuth, the home plate umpire tonight. Paul Noward at first, Doug Gettings at second, and Vic Carapazza, the umpire, down at third. So the Cubs threatening here in the 3rd with 2 on and 1 out. And Starlin Castro singled into center field his first time up. Steps in. Castro didn't hit the ball very hard his first time up, but he had enough on it. There's a strike. Castro, perhaps right now, would not be the ideal number 3 hitter on a contending team. They believe as his body gets bigger and stronger that he'll very much become a number 3 hole hitter. But after starting the year at the leadoff spot, hitting the 2nd spot for a little while, they figured why not run him out there right now, because the other options, whether it be Aramis Ramirez, Early in the year, Carlos Pena. To a lesser extent, Alfonso Soriano. None of those guys were hitting.
I was going to say, I mean, the options weren't there. Castro was the guy really swinging the bat well, so they decided to stick him in the 3-hole and see if he could, start driving in some runs and be that run producer. But you're right. I don't know right now if he's a number 3 hitter in the big leagues. I think he will be eventually, obviously, as he grows into that body. But they really had no other options in that lineup.
Only 21 years old is Starlin Castro. 2 on. And there's strike 2 on the outside corner. You may remember when we saw Castro earlier this year. He had gone nearly 40 at-bats without a single swing and a miss. And he'll swing at pitches everywhere. I mean, his plate discipline is not all that good, being such a young player, but he finds a way to put the bat on the ball.
Well, a guy like Castro, a young player, you don't want to take away his aggressiveness. It goes back to, the Vladimir Guerreros and some of those guys that just, they swing at everything, but they're able to barrel it up. And you don't want to take away Castro's aggressiveness, and I think you can't teach experience. The more he plays in the big leagues, the more he learns the strike zone and knows, okay, that's a ball I can really handle, and that's a ball I should probably let go because it's a ball.
Runners at first and second, 1 out. And there is strike 3 called. Boy, you can't drop it in a better location than Leake did, and they're 2 away in the inning.
I mean, the great at bat right there. The pitch before that was a sinker away. This one's a 2-seamer that rides right in on the inside corner of the plate. So really threw it, twice with the one outside on that paint, and then this one riding right in on that inside corner. Great pitch, pitch process right there by Mike Leake.
So 2 away in the inning, and here comes Carlos Pena. He knocked in the only Cub run with runners on the corners back in the opening inning. Lifted a fly ball plenty deep enough to left field to drive in Darwin Barney. We'll just call him Barwin the rest of the series. That combines the two and will shorten everything up.
I think that sounds awesome. I thought you said Barwin.
Or either Barwin or Darney. One or the other.
That's perfect. Could mix and match both those.
2 on, 2 out. First pitch breaking ball low and into Pena. Pena only on a 1-year contract. For so many years, of course, Derek Lee, the first baseman for the Chicago Cubs. And last year, right around the deadline, they moved him to Atlanta. And he signed during the offseason with Baltimore. And, of course, all the speculation has been going on, really going back to spring training. And after watching what Albert Pujols did the last 2 days for the Cardinals against the Cubs, it further fans the flame that will the Cubs pursue Albert Pujols at the end of this year.
I think the one team that can afford him, like you go to the Yankees, they have Teixeira. You go to Phillies, have Ryan Howard. You go to Boston, they have Adrian Gonzalez. So they're not going to go after Pujols. The one team that really could use him and has the money to go after him would be the Chicago Cubs.
Two 2-0 to Carlos Pena. And that's ball 3.
The question is with that whole thing is how many years and how much. When you start seeing guys get in their mid-30s, injuries start to happen. Pujols is not your typical guy that can keep throwing his body around without some injuries happen at some point. And to commit whatever 10 years, $300 million, that's a pretty big price tag for a guy that's going to be 32, 33 years old.
3-0 to Pena, and he takes on the outside corner a strike. I think everybody in the baseball world will be stunned, and I mean stunned, if Pujols were to get even an 8-year contract. 10 years, forget it.
I agree. I would be stunned if it was 8 to 10 years.
Three and one on Carlos Pena. 2 on, 2 out, and it's lined into right, a base hit. They're going to hold the runner at third. Bruce got to it quickly And now they have the runner at first, and they got him. How about that? Pena falls asleep after a big turn at first, and Brandon Phillips sneaks in behind him. Hannigan saw it. Inning over.
Drive out to right. Bruce comes up, throw him. But watch this right here. Votto comes down to be the cut man. Brandon Phillips. On every play, you got to be somewhere. Phillips sneaks in behind Pena and catches him sleeping. But right here, Bruce comes up throwing. Pena makes that wide turn, thinking they're going to score a run. Obviously over Votto's head. Phillips does a great job, sneaks in behind him. Bam, got Pena sleeping at first base. Great way to get out of that inning.
Well, what a way to start that inning coming out of our commercial break.
Oh, how about that right there, Tommy? Look at that breakdown.
0-1 to Mike Leake.
Jay Bruce.
By and large, that has been one thing, Sean, that even though they always haven't been consistent starting pitching, bullpen by and large been good. They've had their moments, like every bullpen. The offense, hot, cold, points in between. The Reds defense, by and large, every day, they've been there.
As solid as they come. And they knew, too. Jay Bruce comes up throwing right there. Probably one of the best arms in the big leagues, if not the best. They're going to hold him up there at third base, which sets up that whole play. But Brandon Phillips does a great job of just being heads up and sneaking in behind Carlos Pena right there. Not everybody's doing that. And they always say every play you should be somewhere. And Phillips really executed that great.
2-2 to Mike Leake. 4 hits and 17 at bats. And Garza going to work. Got him swinging. They'll get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Of course, Jim Day and Jeff Pecoro will break it all down. Heck, Sean Casey was even part of Reds Live over from the Fox Sports Ohio condominium before the game yesterday.
That was awesome, man. I love being down there with Jeff and Jim with those fake masks. I was passing those out. They're like, can we get the we want the mask with Jeff, not Jim. I was saying, Jim Day's a great looking guy.
0-1 to Drew Stubbs. He struck out his first time up.
Jim was getting on me yesterday for burying a little bit. So, Jim, I just I'm just kidding, right? If you're listening out there, you know I'm just kidding. I love you.
Well, he's just down the hall from us over to our left. That's in the air, right field. Well hit. Reds lead 2-1. Garza not homered until yesterday since May the 11th. And now home runs in back-to-back games.
Well, watch how deep this ball gets. That ball's on the outside, outer half, 94 miles an hour. Watch this. It hugs it, but watch Stubbs. Wait, bam. And that explosion right there is why he drives the ball to right field. And that's what's big about Drew Stubbs. This guy can go out of the ballpark anywhere here. Left center, right center, down the lines. Does a great job, though. We're really waiting on that fastball, 94 miles an hour, waiting and letting it travel and driving it to right field.
So now Brandon Phillips with a run home. Reds have their first lead of the night. And a broken bat. Drew Stubbs safe at home with a long ball. He's safe and secure. New York Light.
That's what happens with that home run swing, Tom. Is that he homered yesterday, got a beautiful ball to left center. You just start, you hit him in bunches sometimes with home runs, and you get that confidence going that you can drive the ball out of the park again. And Drew Stubbs has that kind of swing where he drives the ball with those high fly balls, and he has the power to get that swing going where he hits them in bunches.
Brandon bounced out to Garza his first time up. By Garza this time to the shortstop Castro, 2 away.
Hey, Reds fans, if you are in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions and better results. JTM. All right, man. JTM, they were out there the other day at that Nuxall's
better believe it.
Golf tournament.
How many of those did you have?
I know you were over there.
I was. I told you I went and saw my buddy Terrence Gibson.
Yeah.
But how many of those did you have?
I think I had 2. That's not that much, is it?
No.
It was good, though. Good food.
But you said you actually, for a 4th consecutive day since getting back into town, stopped off at Skyline Chili again.
We all have our vices. When I come back to Cincinnati, I think my vice is Skyline Chili. It's unbelievable. I just get the large 5-way. I just can't stop. And then I almost go for the small again just for the taste of it. I'm already full, but I try and give my mind 10 minutes to realize, you know what? You're full. The large was good enough. Do not go to the small. So today I just had another bowl of crackers.
2-1 to Votto.
Oh, I love that place.
So now, are you driving back late tonight, or are you waiting until tomorrow?
I don't know. I think I might wait till tomorrow. Because I'll be useless anyhow. I'll get home tonight about 3 in the morning, and then I'll wake up at like noon. So I might as well drive at 7 and get there at 11.
And of course, if you do it that way, you could stop by Skyline tonight and then maybe hit it on your way out of town tomorrow.
And I'm serious when I say this. Don't think that hasn't gone through my mind. I'm trying to figure out here what's my best scenario to get one more trip to Skyline before I get out of town. And I can't do it at 7 a.m. I might have to stick around tonight and hit it around 11:30 the drive-thru.
That one muscled into left center field, a base hit by Votto. So he keeps the inning alive for Jay Bruce, who doubled his first time up.
Now you want to talk about let the ball travel. Watch this 2-seamer right here. Watch Votto right there. And that ball is middle in and up. But this is why he's so good. This is why he hits 340. This is why he's leading the league in hit. Because he lets it travel middle in, is able to get inside the ball and still barrel it and hit it over the shortstop's head.
Ball 1 to Jay Bruce. He led off the Reds' second inning with a double down the right field line and scored on a base hit by Johnny Gomes. Reds have a 2-1 lead as Drew Stubbs snaps a 1-1 tie with a home run to right field in this 3rd inning. hard, but right at Darwin Barney, and the inning is over. But Stubbs plays long ball to right, and at the end of 3, the Reds have a 2-1 lead. Restaurants, schools, retailers, and our military around the world. JTM Food Group. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Sonic, America's Drive-In. It's new, it's better. It's the new Sonic Good. Mike Leake has been handed his first lead of the night. Reds 2, Cubs 1. We begin the 4th inning. Aramis Ramirez, Blake DeWitt, and Giovanni Soto due up for Mike Quaddy's Cubs. Good pitch away from Ramirez, who puts it on the ground to Brandon Phillips, and that's nearly an automatic out. Time now for the AT&T trivia question tonight. Since 2005, who are the 4 Major League Baseball players that have hit 3 home runs in a game against the Cubbies? Jeff Picoro is up in the booth guessing. And his first guess, by reading his lips up here in the booth, he was right.
Nice. Done your homework, Jeff, huh?
0-1 to Blake DeWitt. That's in the dirt. DeWitt single to right center field, his only time up tonight. Cubs about hit him 5-1, but the Reds have outscored him 2-1. That's a fair ball. Bruce charging hard, and DeWitt into second base with a 1-out double.
This turns out to be a tough play right here. Watch this second hop right here bounce and get going. It gets that top spin, and so Votto gets to the line, but watch this hop really hops up like a Super Bowl right here, boom, and really kind of leaves Votto. He just wasn't able to pull that off, but that hop right there really jumped on him. As you can see, it just got by him. Tough play.
So that'll bring up Giovanni Soto. He bounced into a double play on a bouncer that started at the third baseman Miguel Cairo. Soto 3 years ago, the National League's Rookie of the Year. And then his sophomore season was just a disaster. Showed up out of shape. The Cubs were extremely disappointed in the year that he had, and then they were very elated when he bounced back last year and put it all together again.
This guy, he's got some good talent in that bat. You know, hasn't swung it great this season again. Here hitting at 218, but I mean, after his not his freshman year, his rookie year, and then coming into that sophomore year where he really struggled a little bit, it was good. It was impressive for him to get back and not lose his confidence, get it back there, and have a pretty good year last season.
Soto way out in front there, and now Leake ahead at 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Really good changeup right there. Great arm action on that pitch. Really had Soto full early on that good changeup.
Now the 1-2 on Soto with a tying run at second. Leake, well, it's a nice play. Looked one way, came back the other way, and still got the out. That is nicely done by Mike Leake.
Mike Leake does a great job of know thy runner, right? He makes the play, takes a look at third. Do I have a play at the wit? Knows that Soto doesn't run typically well. Makes a nice play here. Realizes he doesn't have it at third base. No one's there, but knows he has enough time to turn and fire and get Soto. Nice play by Mike Leake. Brings it back to his shortstop days over there at Arizona State.
Of course, Leake took a look at third base, but the third baseman Cairo came in charging for the ball, not knowing whether or not Leake would be able to get to it. So, I mean, no one's expected to be at third base here.
No, Cairo, obviously. Listen, Mike Leake is such a good athlete. He ends up, a lot of pitchers don't make that play or even attempt to go to third base. They might make it on the backhand. Leake almost gets around it, fields it in front of him. That's the only reason he had that play, maybe at third base.
So now Tyler Colvin, the number 8 hitter, with a tying run at third and 2 out. Colvin grounded out to Paul Yanish, ending the Chicago's second inning. And Leake out of the regular windup. Just misses a fastball in the outside corner. That's his best fastball tonight.
Big thing with a kid like Tyler Colvin is confidence. You play in this league, you had 20 home runs last year. He had the injury he had, got hit with a collapsed lung. But, it becomes a confidence issue. Do I belong here? Can I hit here? And he's got off to a start here where he's hitting, under 100. I think it's more of a mental thing at that point. Not so much physical. Does he have the physical tools? Yes, but it becomes a mental thing where you just don't feel comfortable in the box. You don't feel confident in your abilities.
1-1 and foul out of play. That'll even a count of 2-2. You may remember it was down in Florida last year. He missed the final 2 weeks of the year. Take a look at this broken back. Right into his chest. Was hospitalized with a collapsed lung. That was a very, very serious injury, to say the least.
Those things where they talk about the bats, the maple bats, they're splitting so much, they're coming out, they're almost like weapons, and there you see it. A guy finally got hit with one and ends up puncturing his lung.
Now the 2-2 to Colvin. On the ground again to Yanish. He's got it. And Leake pitches around a 1-out double. Reds coming to that last of the 4th, leading 2-1. 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. So far, so good for Mike Leake. He's allowed at least one base runner in every inning. In fact, in 2 of the 4 innings, he's allowed a couple of them. But he's only given up 1 run. And that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. As long as those runs don't cross the board, doesn't matter what he's given up, he's pitching out of it.
Well, bottom of the 4th inning, Reds will have Johnny Gomes, Miguel Cairo, and then Ryan Hannigan. Johnny with a base hit into center field to drive in Jay Bruce back in the 2nd inning. And for Gomes, his 21st run batted in. Strike 1.
You know, you look at Johnny's average, 190, you know, and you say, how do you get this guy going? How do you get it going? You got to keep putting him out there. So give credit to Dusty Baker, saying, hey, listen, the only way Johnny Gomes is going to end up hitting his way out of it is to be in the lineup.
Ball stung right there, but right at the Cubs shortstop Castro. All right, we're giving you a little while to think about our AT&T trivia question tonight. Who are the 4 players in Major League Baseball going back to 2005 that have hit 3 home runs in a game against the Cubs? 3 of the 4 are Reds. How about that?
Wow.
Joey Votto in 08. You know about Albert Pujols. And then last year, both Drew Stubbs and Jay Bruce did it.
That's pretty impressive.
I just still can't believe that number about Albert Pujols. In his career against the Cubs, has hit 51 home runs.
That is unbelievable. To do that against one club is unbelievable.
And of course, that is without a doubt the biggest rivalry inside the National League Central in terms of geographically. Of course, right across the Mississippi River there from downtown St. Louis is the state of Illinois. I mean, historically, they've been a great rivalry. They've always been in the same division. Now, if you were to ask the Cardinal fans right now who they consider to be their #1 rival, it would be without a doubt the Cincinnati Reds, as far as on the field is concerned right now.
Well, I think the big thing with that, obviously we know about the fight last year, but I think the Reds taking over and finally starting to win the Central and challenge the Cardinals has been the biggest thing, that they realize, okay, we got a team that's pretty good, and they're looking pretty good for a long time. A lot of good young-looking players, and now we got the rivalry. You got La Russa and Baker, their history. It's just a great thing now. You know, the fans get excited, the players get excited. It's a great thing when you have rivalries like that in the game. The Cardinals-Reds are starting to get there.
Take a look at the National League Central Division standings presented by Honda. The 5.5 games back for the Reds, a season high. In fact, they were never that far back at all in 2010. But a long, long way to go.
There's only 102 games to play. This is a lot of baseball.
1 on, 1 out for Ryan Hannigan. There goes a runner. And a base hit into left field. And Cairo going to put on the brakes after Blake DeWitt got to it quickly out in left field. Well, if anybody on the team, and we talked about it so many, many times, if you're going to play hit and run with any batter in the Reds lineup, Ryan Hannigan is the guy they most frequently ask to do it.
Well, Ryan Hannigan does a great job right there. Cairo gets going. They know he's probably going to get a first pitch hard, first pitch fastball. Hannigan does a great job of putting it on the ground right where he should have and advancing Cairo.
So now 2 on with 1 out. The number 8 hitter Paul Yadish at the plate. Breaking ball is down low. Now a lot of people say, well, you know, when you're going to play hit and run, you know, don't you want to hit it the other way if you're a right-handed batter? Mike Scioscia says it the best. He said, I played this game for a long time. He said, every now and again, you might trick yourself into believing that you can hit the ball exactly where it is you want to hit it. He said, when I play hit and run, I want the guy at the plate to just hit the ball hard. And wherever it ends up is where it ends up.
That's exactly right. You can't be saying, okay, I'm going to try and flip it over here. It's tough enough to hit a baseball no matter what if it's down the middle. So when you're hitting and running, you're just trying to get a pitch, hit it hard somewhere, and see what happens.
Now, you were a guy who had unbelievable bat control. You could hit to all fields. I mean, did you ever feel like there were times where I know I can hit this pitch into left field all day, every day?
You know,
against certain guys?
Yeah, there definitely was, especially if I could get a pitcher that was throwing me middle away, a little middle away, and I felt like, you know what, I'm in a place right now where I'm really letting the ball travel, really letting the ball get deep, and if he stays out there all day long, I feel like I can keep hitting line drives to left until he makes an adjustment. Yeah, I did. And then the times I was scuffling, I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to get a hit up here. No idea what I'm doing.
3-1 delivery. And it's a full count on Giannis. So Cairo, the runner at third, Hannigan at second. Reds with a 2-1 lead, batting here in the last of the fourth inning against Matt Garza. And now the payoff pitch. Ball 4, and they're loaded. Garza, and you can start to see the pitcher now, Garza. We brought up earlier in the game. A temperamental sort. Soto recognized it immediately after that pitch missed. And he comes racing out to the mound, grabs him by the jersey.
You know, Dana DeMuth, too, is a veteran umpire. He's not going to put up with that too long. He's going to let him know, hey, listen, you can't show me up like that. You can't make those kind of gestures without me finally maybe saying something. So, you know, Garza, Soto goes out there to talk to Garza. And here comes Riggins, too, to say, hey, listen, let me just give you a little breather, settle down a little bit. That pitch was close. But you don't. The one thing about this game, Tommy, you got to control what you can control. You can't control what the umpire calls. You can control filling up the strike zone and continuing to do it. You can't let your emotions get the best of you.
You know, a lot of times when you get a guy who's so emotional on the mound, unless you can find a way, perhaps that was what Mark Riggins was doing. We know that's what Giovanni Soto was doing. That in a situation like this, he might just rear back, try to throw it as hard as he can right down the middle. And if you're the batter, Mike Leake, that might be exactly what he's looking for right here with the bases loaded and 1 out.
No doubt. And Mike Leake can handle the bat a little bit.
And if you notice, he stayed away from it. Ball 1. Leake has a pair of sacrifices this year. And I bring up sacrifice because Leake is such an excellent athlete. And on a 1-0 count, 1-1 count now, would you think about a suicide squeeze, a safety squeeze?
Maybe a safety squeeze, yeah, because he handles the bat well, get it down, get that runner in. But I like the way Mike Leake swings the bat. I might just let him swing away here.
They took a hack there, fouls it off. And now Soto right back out to the mound to talk to Garza, who keeps pacing around like an angry bull behind that mound.
Yeah, this is you know, the part of the game where the mental side of the game where you can go two ways here. You can really let the game get away from you because you can't control your emotions, or you can realize, listen, I got to back it down, slow it down, make a pitch, execute, and get out of this mess.
Bases loaded. 1 out. 1-2 to Leake. And it's a base hit into right field. 1 run will score. They'll hold Hannigan. So how about Leake on a 1-2 pitch? He dribbles one through. And the Reds have a 3-1 lead.
That was a good job of hitting right there. He gets a breaking ball that's in on his hands. He ends up watching pull his hands inside. This ball's middle in. he pulls his hands inside and is able to shoot that to right field. But that's what we were talking about before. Mike Leake can really handle himself at the plate. Gets a pitch right here. Obviously, that's a tough pitch. He obviously didn't want to necessarily hit it there, but he wanted to hit it hard somewhere. He let the ball really travel in the zone and was able to just fight one off to right field.
Well, you're only in the 4th inning, so perhaps a little early to talk about kicking the door in. But you can make it a very tough night for the Cubs to come back in this game. If you can rattle off a couple of more hits here against Garza in his 4th inning. Cubs have action in their bullpen. Garza closing in on 80 pitches in the game. Reds have him loaded for Drew Stubbs. And slow rolling to short. They get one. And they can't get two. So the run scores from 3rd. And the Reds have a 4-1 lead.
Boy, it must be nice to have that kind of speed. I mean, Stubbs hits a ball where any other person that hits that, it's a 6-4-3, no doubt about it. But Stubbs is rolling down that line. Ends up getting a run in there by Stubbs by getting down the line. And Garza just needs to keep taking that deep breath. A little frustration. Did his job right there. Got the ground ball he needed. But when you got a guy like Drew Stubbs that's got that speed, that gets you some extra runs sometimes.
Now Brandon Phillips, he's had a hard time with Garza tonight. Broke his bat on a comebacker to the mound in the 1st inning. Broke a bat on a foul ball in the 3rd. Then finished that at bat with a ground ball to Castro at short. We'll see if the 3rd time is indeed a charm for the Reds' second baseman. It's not enough to worry about if you're Garza to try and stop the bleeding. But now you got to be concerned with a guy at first base stealing second. He's 17 out of 19 on the year.
I think the biggest thing, Garza's nice play right there.
That's the best play of the year.
That was awesome. Nice job.
I mean, that's a check swing rocket, and that's into the 1st row.
I mean, and he went in and to get it. Look at the guy behind him. He's like, oh, hello. Look at unbelievable play. Good job bringing your glove, brother, and a first baseman's mitt. He knew he was going to make the play.
Wow. That's big league play.
That really is. We've seen a couple nice plays the last couple days.
How about the guy, the barehanded guy?
That was awesome. And the girl was eating the blue slushy, and he saved her and the slushy with that nice one-handed grab, and was real calm and collective about it.
Look at a big fella behind him there. He was ready, too.
He was. I think he was bailing. The guy behind him was bailing.
No. Line to the second baseman, and that'll end the inning. If it had hit that guy behind him, it would have stuck. Reds get 2, and they lead by 3. to 25 times and help send your favorite Reds to the All-Star game in Arizona. Vote early, vote often, vote Reds. And we look at the early returns. First round of balloting last week, second round coming out today. And look at Brandon Phillips, still the leader at second base. We understand it's a neck-and-neck race between Albert Pujols and Joey Votto over at first. The leading vote getter in the National League is Ryan Braun.
Brawny's really been swinging it this year. 306, 13 homers, 42 RBIs. Really, what a nice looking player, and obviously the fans think so too.
Of course, Matt Holliday is on the disabled list. There's a fly ball. And a deep left center field. That ball really carried a long way. It didn't appear as though it was hit all that well.
Well, Stubbs' reaction right here. He takes off running, kind of comes in and realizes this ball's hit pretty well. I got to get on my horse. But that's what's nice about having a guy like Drew Stubbs out there. Speed makes up for a lot of different things, and Drew Stubbs really makes a nice play right there.
That was a pinch hitter, DJ LeMahieu. I thought for a moment there. Was that Matt Garza hit that ball? No, Garza's out of the game. So in his first start back in nearly 3 weeks, it is a very short stint for Mr. Garza. He gives up 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned, walks 3, strikes out 3. That ball clobbered down the right field line and bangs against the wall, and it's a 3-hit night for Fukudome.
That looked like that banged the top of the fence. This got him a little bit of power right here. Ball just gets out over the plate. He's really ready to just turn on it. But watch this ball. I think it hits the top of the fence, doesn't it? Right off the yellow line. Nothing worse than that as a hitter. Comes off your bat, you think it's gone, and the old yellow line gets you.
Now Darwin Barney, he's bounced into a fielder's choice, scored a run, was hit by a pitch his last time up. So the Cubs have had at least one base runner in every inning tonight. In fact, they have a hit in every inning so far against Mike Leake.
As we said, Mike Leake's been able to, get that cutter, sinker, get the ground ball when he needs it, the double play ball, pitch out of it. Let's see if he can do it again here in the 5th.
Philadelphia in the bottom of the 4th inning with a 2-0 lead over the Dodgers. It's hard to believe the Dodgers have gone 4 innings in any game without scoring a run after watching what we watched the last couple of days.
Especially Matt Kemp, the way he's swinging it. If he just gets a pitch to hit, looks like he's going to hit it out of the park.
Milwaukee Brewers, meanwhile, pounding Florida again. Well, the Brewers went limping out of here, losing 2 out of 3, and they got down to business down in Florida. They're about to win. If they can hang on, there's a long way to go, but it would be their 4th straight win. Votto to Leake. And the call is safe.
That's a tough play right there. Barney runs well. Votto's going a long way to get this ball. Obviously, Leake's a good athlete. Kind of takes you're really supposed to come up the line there. He takes a route directly at the base. But there's a tie right there with Barney. But nice play by Votto. Go get everything you can. Brandon Phillips might have had an easier play there where Votto just stays at the base. But Joey Votto's a great first baseman over there. And mentally, when you play aggressively like he does, he just misses making that play.
Good call by the umpire down there, Paul Noward. He was indeed safe. So they're on the corners with 1 out. Reds with a 4-1 lead. Cubs trying to climb right back in it. And here's Castro. That ball driven deep into the night in right center field, and Bruce in front of the wall. Able to corral it. Tagging and scoring from third is Fukudome, and that'll make it a 4-2 game. Boy, Castro just missed tying this game up.
Just missed it.
And now you're seeing the great young outfield too. You saw Stubbs make a great play earlier on for the first out. Castro does a good job of getting this pitch and driving it to right field with that leg kick, stays back on the baseball, drives it. But Jay Bruce does a nice job of getting under that ball, making kind of a basket catch. That's a tough play right there for the 2 outs this inning.
So one more big out to go. Carlos Pena represents a tying run. Sac fly RBI for Pena in the first inning. He singled to right field. And that was a play where they had 2 on with 2 outs in the inning. Pena singled into right. Jay Bruce came up firing to the plate. Pena took a wide turn around first. They had held the runner at third. But Brandon Phillips snuck in behind Pena and tagged him out on the throw from Hannigan to end the inning.
Real heads-up play by Phillips right there, and got Leake out of some trouble. That's Jay Bruce has been a factor in making that play for the second out, which was a nice play. And also earlier in the game, they respect his arm because it's so good. They don't send Fukudome, and they end up getting out of the inning. So stuff that doesn't show up necessarily if you're really watching the game, but things like that Jay Bruce plays such a good right field. It ends up winning the ball games with some of the plays he makes.
One to Pena.
I think that's what Mike Leake needs to continue to do to Pena is pound that sinker in. Run it on his hip and pound it in, because Pena has a kind of an uppercut swing and really likes to get his arms extended. And if you keep it in there on his hands up around the belt, that's not a pitch he really wants.
Came in there again and missed. 2-1 to Pena. Barney with 3 stolen bases in 5 attempts. He's a runner at first. And now the 2-1 offering. Blowing away ball 3. I don't remember in his short time as a major leaguer, Leake as deliberate as he has been on the mound tonight. Normally he's a get it and go guy. Three and 2 to Pena. Well, we talk all the time. I mean, every inning has been a high-stress inning for Mike Leake. Cubs are batting here in the 5th inning. They only have 2 runs, but they have 8 base hits. He's hit a batter, so make it 9 base runners in 4 2/3 innings. 3-2 pitch. He thought that was strike 3. Instead, it's ball 4. So the inning continues for Aramis Ramirez.
Close pitch right there. I mean, Leake's making it tough for himself. Keep pitching out of the stretch. And I think a big thing is sometimes you're seeing 8 hits. That sinker, those balls that he's trying to cut in the corners, they're just getting left out over the plate, and that's why he's scattered 8 hits, only 2 runs. But you can't keep getting into innings where you got guys on base and continue to get out of it all game.
Cubs left 1 on in the first inning, 2-1 in the 3rd. 1 more in the 4th. And there's strike 1 to Ramirez, who has fly to right and grounded out to Brandon Phillips. This guy for so many years was the last guy in the world that any team in the league would want to see come to the plate with runners on base.
Now you can pitch to him. In the last couple of years, really, he's really just kind of had a power outage. He's not driving the ball the way he was. You know, I remember him and Derek Lee in the middle of that lineup. These are the two guys, big guns, you just do not want to see. There you see 291 career home runs, and he's just not driving the ball like he used to.
Oh, and 2 on Ramirez. And a ground ball to second. And again, Leake gets out of major trouble. He does allow a run. The Cubs strand 2 more. And the Reds lead by 2. '21st and 22nd, presented by Cincinnati Bill. 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Great tune they got on there.
Oh, it really is. I'll do anything. How's that sound?
Hey, pretty good. That's just to see you smile.
I know, it's a great song.
That really is. Well, now taking over on the mound, former outstanding wide receiver, of course, for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish football team. Chose baseball over football. Jeff Samardzija. Oh, what a football player this guy.
Oh, he was. It must be nice to have those kind of options. Brady Quinn was the guy throwing to him, right? They were a legit tandem.
Yes, they were.
No, I'm not going to go to the NFL. I'll just become a big league pitcher. Is that good? Does that mean you're a good athlete?
The last time we saw Samardzija, he was working on an extended scoreless inning streak, and clearly things have not gone well for him since then. Cubs had thoughts of him one day being in their starting rotation. They've entertained thoughts of him being their primary setup man to Carlos Marmol in the bullpen, and so far neither one of those has panned out. And Votto drilled in the back, and that's a primary reason why Samardzija is still, sort of the untapped talent, his wildness.
Yeah. It's tough to be in that rotation if you're going to be all over the place.
That's really got to hurt, doesn't it, Sean? 95.
It really does hurt. Oh, right in the tricep too. I mean, Votto does a great job. The big rule is don't rub it. Run down there and don't rub it, but that hurts. 95 right in your tricep. Oh, glad I'm up here. Not wearing those anymore.
Who got you where it hurt more than anybody else?
Oh man, you know what? Gavin Floyd got me when I was in Detroit in '07. He threw me a cutter in and it just kept chasing me, and it hit my back elbow, and literally the whole left side of my body went numb. And I just went down. I was like, don't rub it, don't rub it. I couldn't rub it because I couldn't feel my body. And Leland was like, you all right? Case, you all right? I was like, hang on a second. I got my whole body's numb. I'll run down to first in a second here.
Gavin Floyd.
Yeah, a cutter. Hit me right in the funny bone elbow, whatever you call it. Whole body went numb. It was not awesome. The opposite of awesome.
To the count on Jay Bruce. Joey Votto over at first. Reds leading 4-2. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Jay barely got a piece of it to hang around.
Yeah, I got hit in the elbow, and then I went down. I had to tell Leland. I literally still couldn't feel my arm or anything for the next inning. I had to tell Leland, I think I might need to go up and get some ice. But he was smoking with heat. He gets his heaters going, down the tunnel, and I was so scared to interrupt his heater. I was like, skip. Hey, wow. I'm like, I can't feel my left arm still. My whole body's numb. I think I might need to go get some ice. Like, I gotta go get some ice. I'm like, sorry for interrupting your heater.
0-2 on Bruce. And that's up and away on a check swing. For those of you wondering, Leland, the whole connection, of course, Sean, you had a chance to play for Jim Leland in Detroit, a team that went all the way to the World Series that year.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, he was kind of one of my boyhood idols growing up in Pittsburgh when he was with the Pirates, and being able to play over there with Leland and Van Slyke and all those guys in Detroit was really a thrill for me.
I remember that city went into a celebration that you'll never forget. I was calling that league championship series when the series ended on a home run.
That was
by Maglio Ordonez.
That was awesome. The electricity, I've never felt that in the stadium before as it was in Detroit. I mean, they had the orange towels going. You were there.
Yeah.
It was almost, when Maglio hit it and Polanco was jumping around like a 4-year-old kid wanting to be around in the bases, and it was just one of those moments that you'll never forget, where you were when Maglio.
That was a fun place to be.
That really was. That was
really
great years in Detroit. It was awesome.
2-2 the count on Jay Bruce, and there goes a runner. And it's swung on and fouled out of play. Yeah, how in the world do you explain what happened to that Detroit team? Then when you advanced on to the World Series, I mean, that was a really good team. Loaded, you guys were loaded offensively. You had outstanding pitching. Out on a play again on a 2-2 pitch with Votto running. You had the most electric bullpen in all of baseball that year.
Well, we were loaded. I really believe, Leland told me don't make excuses about the days off. But, when you have the All-Star break 3 days and you come back, it's tough to get going. When you take 8 days off, we swept through the series. We were 7-1 in the playoffs. The Cardinals and Mets went to Game 7, so we had 8 days off. And we were just rusty. We just didn't have it when we went to St. Louis and then Detroit to play. It still bothers me.
2-2 again on Bruce. Will they start the runner again? Samardzija believes so. He'll fire over to first base. Bruce continues to make him work. That time they did not have Votto running.
Bruce having a great at bat here, really battling Samardzija's fastballs away, sliders, just battling. Looking back at that time, as sad as I was to leave Cincinnati, and I was super sad to leave that season in 06, it was really awesome to have a chance to go to the postseason and go to the World Series.
Ball in the air, hit well. Drifting back to the wall, DeWitt, and cannot make the play. Votto on his way to third on a double by Jay Bruce. And Mike Quaddy playing the infielder Blake DeWitt out in left field, and that's a play that most left fielders will make.
Yeah, DeWitt probably should have come up with this ball. There's no doubt about it. Gets to the fence and ends up mistiming. I think he thought he was closer to the fence than he was. But let's go back to that at bat. Yeah, he just kind of clanks it at the last second. But let's go back. Joey sees it, drops in there, has to make sure. Tells Barney, get out of my way before you get run over. But that at bat by Bruce was impressive. I mean, Tommy, he fight, foul off, then drives one to left field that DeWitt probably should have caught, but does a great job right here. Outside slider, kind of cement mixes in there, and he ends up just, look at Bruce just waiting on that ball, catches it outside, and is able to drive it this time instead of foul it off.
Well, now another big chance to open up some daylight for the Reds over these Cubs. Already a 2-run lead. The infield drawn in. Here's Johnny Gomes with runners at second and third and none out. Strike one.
98 on that one. Pumped it up a little bit.
That's in the dirt, and that will. Oh, now Bruce is caught up. And the catcher, by the time he looks down there, it's too late. Well, I tell you, the longer you watch the Cubs, and we have seen them already enough to know, this is one ball club defensively that just seems to never make the right play.
Yeah, he has Bruce dead to rights right here, and just doesn't see it. He keeps looking at Votto, realizes he's not coming. It goes to throw it, doesn't take a look. They're yelling, we got him! Castro and Barney are like, please throw it. We got him over here. Bruce is hung up, and he didn't see it. And that's the bottom line is, you know, if you play better defense, if you're more heads up, you win more ball games, and the Cubs haven't done that.
And one to Johnny Gomes, 1 for 2 in a game. And it's in the air. Down the left field line.
Get up.
Over in the corner. Goodbye.
Johnny Gomes. He's hitting some rockets too. The other night he got a pinch hit, rocket the second, lined out. You know, Johnny Gomes, how you going to get out of it? You got to play a little bit. Got the RBI early on. Got a pitch right there, breaking ball that stayed up. Johnny Gomes didn't miss it. Hammers it for a big 3-run home run. See right here, watch this ball back up, stays up. There's no tilt on it. And Johnny says, right in my wheelhouse. This ball never dives down. Watch Soto's glove down there. It starts coming up. Gomes does a great job of doing what you're supposed to do with a hanger, and that's deposited into the left field bleachers.
Pyrolis, a fly ball in the shallow right field, caught by Fukudome. So the Reds have scored in each of the last 4 innings. And that 3-run home run, giving Gomes 4 RBIs in the game. That is a season high. And we were talking about it earlier today. If there's one guy that if he got hot, not only what he means to the team in terms of scoring runs, but just the spirit of this team. Gomes seems to really embody so much of what this team was all about last year. Never giving up, always fighting to the very end, coming up with so many clutch hits. And they just missed that spark of him being a good player.
I totally agree. I mean, he brings a dynamic to that team that those guys love. They love Johnny Gomes. He's a great teammate. He comes to play night in and night out. When you're not in the lineup, you don't have that same presence. When you're in the lineup, getting big hits, getting big 2-out hits, you're right. It brings that personality to the club, and it gives you an extra spark.
There's a base hit into right field by Hannigan. Third straight time Ryan's been on base tonight. A couple of base hits.
Here's a case with some RJ. He's got great stuff. But in the big leagues, you got to be able to take that stuff and locate. And And if you're throwing 95 to 98, that balls that are out over the plate, and you're hitting guys and putting base runners on, you're going to get hit around.
There's ball one down low to Paul Yanish. Three in, one on, and one out. 2-0 to Yanish.
He's almost going with the Mitch Williams mullet look, too. It's close to a mullet look.
That's your buddy at the MLB Network.
I know.
Have they been watching you, like yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Watching you tonight back there in New York?
Yeah, they usually shoot. Billy Ripken was shooting me some text the other day saying, "We got you on the TV." And said a couple other choice words I can't say on
they
air.
beat up on you, the guys back there, like, Matt Garza and, not a whole lot. There's a fly ball in the right field, and they're 2 out in the inning.
That's one thing about that place is it feels like you're still in the clubhouse because everyone's busting on each other, and when you do go into games and guys are doing games, it's you become the brunt of a lot of jokes.
Yes, you do.
Like the next time I watch you on TV, Tommy, I'll be texting you because you'll be the brunt of my jokes.
No problem.
No problem.
I'm the brunt of Vasgersian's joke.
Oh, there's no doubt. Oh, every night. He loves
ball in there, a strike.
Matt Vasgersian loves imitating you. I'm serious. It's awesome, too. And he does it awesome.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Hey, imitation is the highest form of flattery,
no
right?
question. Right. Except not from him. Popped up and playable behind the plate. Soto squeezes it tightly, and that will end the inning. But a big blow delivered by Johnny Gomes. A 3-run home run. And the Reds lead at the end of 5 by 5. Before anywhere else, it's brought to you by King's Honda in the King's Auto Mall. Visit King'sHondaUSA.com. (7-2) lead for Dusty Baker's Reds, trying to end a 2-game losing streak after starting this homestand 3-1, winning 2 out of 3 over the Brewers in the opener on Friday night against the Dodgers. Mike Leake has allowed the 8 hits and 10 base runnings, but only 2 runs through the front 5 innings. Blake DeWitt to lead things off for the Cubs. And he looks at a strike. DeWitt to be followed by Soto and then Tyler Colvin.
Here's a situation, too, where you come out, you get Mike Leake three more runs, and you hope he can put a 0 on the board, get you back in the dugout.
Well, you know, the last time you were here, the team owner, Bob Castellini, he brought you a hot dog into the booth, right?
Yeah, with peppers and onions and a little mustard.
Well, are you saying that loud enough so he can hear it again?
This time he comes, and he brings no food, and he just came up to say hi.
He just asked me if I'd like a cheeseburger.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's very nice of you, Bob. You did bring me a hot dog last time, Bob, with some peppers and onions on it. It was so good. It was a big hot dog.
It's always great having Mr. Castellini pop up here to the booth. Come on, at least say hello.
Yeah,
it's your old buddy Sean Casey here. You're not going to come on and at least say hi and welcome to the town? Okay. Well, we want you to come back. So
yeah, we want you to come back. We won't put you on the air. We do like when you visit, though, and bring food.
Of course, Mr. Castellini showed up the team's last road trip. He was already down in that part of the country when the team was in Atlanta. And, hey, look, there were a lot of long faces after that 4-game series in Philadelphia, including the 19-inning game, and showed up upbeat. Said this too shall pass, said everything's going to be all right. And the Reds are hoping that tonight could indeed get them started again after playing very well to begin the homestand. That's grounded foul. 3-2 on DeWitt. Three and 2 on DeWitt. In the air, left field. Gomes will back up. 1 out. You know, there's no way to scientifically prove it, obviously. There's no way in any form or fashion that you could prove it. But it gets back to what we were talking about with Johnny Gomes a little while ago. You know, the team goes down 1-2-3 in the first inning. They get a double by Bruce to begin the second. And then Gomes is that guy who knocks in your first run. And we talk about, for whatever reason, how he just seems to give this team such a spark, such a different feel to it when he is playing well. He gets off to a good start tonight. The team comes back in the next inning. Stubbs hits the home run. They get a couple of more runs in the 4th inning. He hits the 3-run home run in the 5th inning. Now, again, most people say there's no connection between anything that you just said, and they might be right. But you just have a different feeling watching this team when he is playing well.
I agree. I think, Johnny Gomes brings that passion for the game, passion for his teammates. And I do believe that when he comes through and he comes through with big hits and he's a presence in the game, that he makes this club better. There's no doubt about it, as he did last year.
Well, I got to tell you, Sean, you've been talking about food up here for the last 3 days. And Mr. Castellini tonight asked me if I would like something. So he has had delivered a cheeseburger here.
Oh, that's big time.
I mean, take a look at this. I'm going to go ahead and just sit down.
Look at that thing. There's no doubt you'll have mustard on your shirt soon. Look at that right there.
From the boss.
From the boss. Gosh, you're big time.
How am I looking?
The boss.
You're not looking too
The boss
good.
brought you a burger.
6th inning, and now it's time for the Coors Light freeze can. Bang bang play at first, but the tie goes to the runner. And Darwin Barney able to leg out an infield hit. And that's a Coors Light freeze can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Jeff Samardzija begins his 2nd inning of work in relief of Matt Garza. Garza goes to front 4, allows 6 hits, 4 runs. Samardzija in his only inning of work allowed 3 runs, 3 hits, and hit a batter. Drew Stubbs to begin things here in the Reds' 6th inning. Cincinnati in front by 5 in the opening game of this 3-game series. Of course, the big story tomorrow night will be the return of Edinson Volquez. Doug Davis, veteran left-hander. The Cubs signed to a minor league deal and then brought him up to the major leagues. He will start tomorrow night for Chicago. He's a guy that has always given the Reds a lot of problems.
Doug Davis, just that crafty lefty, little sinker, little slider, knows how to pitch, change up. You know, a guy that's had a lot of success in the big leagues for the stuff that he has up there. Just knows how to pitch. A lot of years over there in Milwaukee, a few years over there in Arizona.
Stubbs 1 out of 3 has knocked in a couple of runs, hit a home run to right field to break a 1-1 tie in the 3rd. And he has gone swinging for the 2nd time tonight.
Good changeup right there.
Well, we remind you once again, you can always check out the Johnny Bench Baseball's Greatest Catcher exhibit presented by Dinsmore and Scholl at the Reds Hall of Fame. For more information, visit redsmuseum.org.
That's a lot of gold gloves right there, a lot of jerseys. But Johnny kept a lot of stuff over his playing days.
Johnny had some very interesting comments which made national news in regard to the Buster Posey situation. Brian Sabian, the general manager, coming out and blasting the young Florida outfielder.
Scott Cousins.
Yep, and saying it was a dirty play, so on and so forth. And that he should be suspended for the year. And Johnny Bench came out and said, we teach our guys to do it differently. That Posey can't be down on his knees there while the runner is coming into the plate. And he made the comment that you got to be standing up in front of the plate and let the runner see the plate, which will then force the runner to slide into the plate, thinking he can get there, rather than not giving him any of the plate and forcing him then to run through the catcher.
Right.
Well, it was a very interesting article that was written about it. Johnny was some kind of appearance back in his home state of Oklahoma.
And it's coming from Johnny Bench. And listen, catchers know there's going to be contact. But I tell you what, when you're 5 feet from the catcher and you're Scott Cousins and you say, what do I do here? Ball's not there yet. Posey's got it. Is he going to slide over, take the plate away from me? You make that decision about 5 feet away. I'm going to plow him or I'm going to slide. And Cousins made the decision to plow him. And the only reason we're talking about it is such a big deal is because it's Buster Posey, and he's obviously one of the best players in the game, one of the great players for the Giants. But that's not a dirty play, and Scott Cousins is not a dirty player, as Posey said. And when you're a catcher, you got to expect contact. And I just don't think that was a dirty play, and I think he played it right.
Pop up for the 2nd out of the inning, and here comes Joey Votto. 1 out of 2. A single's been hit by a pitch and scored on the Gomes home run. Swung on and fouled off out of play to the 3rd base side.
when you watch the great hitters in the game, the guys that drive the baseball, the guys that hit for high average, driving a lot of runs, the one word that comes to mind always with these guys is balance. When Joey Votto pitch right there is an off-speed first pitch, usually looking fastball, but he's still balanced in his swing, and he hits a rocket.
Nice play there by DeWitt. On a hot smash from Votto, and that'll end the inning. 1-2-3 go the Reds. We move to the 7th. Reds lead 7-2. Half of the 7th inning. And there's a roller in the hole at short, and the throw is in time.
Nice play.
What a play. Of course, a young man from the University of Cincinnati up there to pinch hit who can absolutely fly. Tony Campana. Thought he'd never get him the way this kid runs.
Oh, man, Campana's flying down the line, but Giannis makes a great slide. Watch him pop to his feet. Got a great arm. Watch this pick by Votto, too. Bam, little pick right there. Nice play by Paul Giannis, and Campana really got down the line. He knew he had to get rid of it and get rid of it fast, and he did.
A young man made his major league debut when the Cubs were here on the last homestand, had a base hit in his first at bat. And I know there has to be somebody out there I've seen it's faster. When he was running those bases, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody running the bases faster than Campana.
He can pick him up and hold him down. There's no doubt about it. That's a big reason he's up here, because, you know, down in the minor leagues, they knew that speed he had would play up here.
13th round draft choice out of the University of Cincinnati in 2008, Campana. Career 300-plus hitter in 4 minor league seasons in the Cubs organization. And in 4 years, Campana has stolen 144 bases in the minor leagues.
That's rolling.
I think everybody was stunned when the Cubs lineup card came out tonight, and Campana was not in the lineup. He's an outfielder, and they're playing an infielder in left field tonight.
And it showed a couple times. It's shown up that DeWitt's not really a left fielder. But Campana to steal that many bases in only 4 years, when everyone knows you're going. Everyone knows you're going. You're stealing it right in front of their face. You're saying, listen, I fly, throw me out.
Gomes had a perfect night. A pair of singles, a double, has scored a run. It's the best run Mike Leake has been on all night. He's retired the last 5. And here he is pitching into the 7th inning. You know, you take away just a couple of starts from Mike Leake's season. There's a bouncing ball to Phillips. But talking about Leake, you know, you look at the outings he made as a starter now, and if somebody walked up to you and said, okay, this is your 9th start, and right now you're sitting on 6 2/3 innings, 2 runs. We're going to take away 2 of your starts. So in your other 7 starts, you go 6 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 2 runs, 7 innings, 3 runs, 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs after you went back to the minor leagues. Against Atlanta, 6 innings, 1 run. So outside of 2 disasters, his 2nd start of the year out in Arizona, and then a start here where he allowed 7 to Houston. Oh, look at Phillips. Did he get it?
Oh!
No.
Just a great try right there, too. I mean, look at this. Giannis makes that one play, and you come back and say, okay, Brandon Phillips over the, I mean, only could do it barehanded, almost makes that play. For him to barehand this ball and then get rid of it and have another arm straight to get it to first base. That is impressive. And that's why that glove's gold over there. But getting back, you were talking about Mike Leake. He's had a bunch of quality starts. I mean, 6 legit quality starts. This guy is a legit big league pitcher. I mean, he's had a couple rough outings. Great sinker, great cutter, great movement in the zone. The stuff he throws up there after watching him time and time again, Tom, you know, this stuff plays in the big leagues.
Leake is never going to be the guy that's going to strike out 200 batters in a year. He's always going to be a guy who gives up more than likely a hit per inning. But because he throws a sinker ball, he's always that cliche 1 pitch away from a double play.
Yep.
By and large, he throws a lot of strikes. And the outings he hasn't thrown strikes, like a lot of guys, will run into problems. But our statistician Joe Luckup was doing some research before the ball game today. It appears the one thing more than anything else, if Leake is not giving up the home run ball, the difference between when he allows 1 home run in a game as opposed to 0 in a game is staggering. He's had 14 starts in his career where he didn't allow a home run. His record, 6-1, ERA 1.5. Where he's allowed at least 1 home run, 16 starts, 6-4 record, but ERA almost 6.5.
That is a staggering number right there. It just proves that if he's getting that sinker working and he can keep the ball on the ground and let his defense do the work, he's tough to beat.
Stubbs will run it down at 7 innings of 2-run baseball tonight for Mike Leake. Cincinnati Children's, who ranks 3rd in the nation on U.S. News and World Report's honor roll for Best Children's Hospitals 2011. By your Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Reds lead 7-2. It appears as though Mike Leake may get a chance to go out there in the 8th inning. Born in Cincinnati, his father grew up in Cincinnati, a longtime major league pitcher, Jeff Russell. His son is James Russell, and he'll take over for Jeff Samardzija. Russell, another guy, a lot like Samardzija, where they flirted with him being a part of their starting rotation as recently as spring training this year. And now he works out of the Cub bullpen. Jay Bruce, a base hit in the right field. That's his 3rd hit. 2 doubles and now a single in 4 at-bats. Jeff Russell made his major league debut for his hometown team in 1983. Of course, he wound up being a closer for many, many years, a very good one for the Texas Rangers, and that's where James grew up.
It's always awesome to see, kids of former players that played in the big leagues get up here and get a chance to play in the big leagues. Going back, I played with a few of them. With looking back at Brett Boone, Aaron Boone's dad was our manager. With Boone's everywhere. Matt Boone was in the minors. Their dogs. Sally Boone was somewhere in Cincinnati.
Bouncer foul. 0-2 on Johnny Gomes. Now, what former Reds teammate do you stay in the closest contact with? I mean, now a number of years have gone by. Anybody in particular do you really talk to a lot?
I still talk to Lark a lot. I still talk to Booney a lot. I still talk to Chris Rietzma a lot. Dunner, Kearnsey, LaRue, those guys I still talk to a lot. Great guys to play with.
Gomes hit with a pitch. He's on base the 3rd time tonight. He's knocked in 4 runs in the game. You don't rub it, but you wince.
0-2. You wear it. Does hurt though.
2-1 here in the Reds' 7th inning, leading by 5. Cairo 0 for 2, walked and scored back in the 4th inning. Short right center field, and Fukudome will give way to Colvin. That's the first out in the inning. Kick off your weekend at Great American Ballpark Friday, June the 17th. The Blue Jays come to town. And we'll have our Boys of Summer fireworks show featuring a baseball-themed soundtrack to mark the official start of summer. Thanks to our friends at Klosterman Baking Company. 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Of course, they're just getting tuned up for the WEBN fireworks later in the summer and Labor Day weekend.
Oh yeah, that's always awesome. I know you're fired up for that.
Mark it down.
I know you're fired up for that.
See, I was a guy, you were growing up in Pittsburgh. I was a guy growing up here that the WEBN fireworks was as big an event as there was in a city every year. Still is, really, but, I mean, when you're 17, 18 years old, I mean, that is it, brother.
You're fired up. You
got about 100 people. You had to go down there across the river. And we'd always go over on the Kentucky side where they have a lot more grass over there, big lawn areas. And it was a different world then than it is now. I mean, things got pretty loose over there. And that's about 100 people from our high school class, maybe more. Have a few folks get over there early, start setting up shop. That was big league day now.
Well, you were so cheap back then, too. You'd probably bring your girlfriend there for a cheap date. Let's go check out the fireworks tonight. They're free. Is that what you did?
Absolutely. Well, are you saying that you would have been above that growing up in Pittsburgh, PA?
What are you nuts? I was the first one in line at those fireworks shows. We used to
I'm not talking about the fireworks shows. I'm talking about a free date.
Oh, yeah. No, I was always up for a free date. I was like, Dad, can I borrow $10? He's like, no. I'm like, Mom, Dad wouldn't give me $10. Like, give the $10. That's how I got my money. Was Marty giving you the Nova?
Oh, I was working, man.
Yeah, right.
I'm telling you.
Where were you working?
I was busting tables at 14.
Oh, were you really?
I'm telling you. Went out there and learned the value of $1, my man.
So did I. I was shoveling driveways. Well, obviously not in the summer, but I was cutting grass and delivering newspapers.
There you go. That's what I mean. 3-1 now on Hannigan. Good fastball there in the inside corner by Russell.
I was delivering papers one time, and this one guy always wanted me to put it in his milk box and ring the doorbell. So I always did it. And the guy would give me a 10-cent tip every 2 weeks. So one time I had a paper blow away, and I had to crumple it up, and I was like, who am I give it to? I said, gave it to Mr. Pressler, shoved it in his milk box, rang the doorbell, and he came running out and said, you get back here.
He had two. Runners going and swung on and fouled.
And I said, that 10 cents is not paying the bills, Mr. Pressler.
No, it's not.
Sometimes you're going to get a crinkled up paper in your milk box, and now you got to call my mom and tell my mom I put your paper in the milk box, and my mom's got to yell at me. Unbelievable.
Well, you still sound very angry.
What a memory. I am. What'd I do to that guy ever?
3-2 to count on Ryan Hannigan. 1 out in the inning. Runners go again, and that ball is clobbered by Hannigan, but foul. Wow. He jumped on that pin.
He was hunting that fastball right there. 3-2 up and in. Got the barrel to it.
Reds still playing very aggressively. 5-run lead here in the 7th inning with 1 out and a 3-2 count. Back-to-back pitches. They've started the runners. Talk about with Hannigan. More than anybody else, he'll do it.
Listen, the way things have gone the last few nights with the Reds, Dusty Baker saying we got to keep scoring. I know it's 7-2 in the 7th, but we got to keep putting up runs. Got to keep being aggressive out there on the base paths and at the plate.
Ball 4. Riggins, their first-year pitching coach, under their first-year manager Mike Quaddy will come out and visit the mound. Quaddy got that Cub job, and there were a lot of people that were very surprised. There was so much talk about Ryne Sandberg becoming the next manager of the Cubs after Lou Piniella, of course, stepped away 3/4 of the way through last season when his mother became very ill and sadly passed. The team went 24-13 under Mike Quaddy. And after really narrowing it down, McQuaddy, a lifelong baseball guy. He has managed so many years in the minor leagues. Been on a number of major league staffs, including Piniella's staff. And he got the job, and Sandberg didn't. I mean, that was the biggest offseason story around this franchise during the winter, or the fall more accurately, where they decided to go with Quaddy rather than Sandberg. Sandberg left the organization and now is managing the AAA team of the Philadelphia Phillies.
I think Mike Quaddy's paid his dues and deserved a shot. deserved a shot. Didn't really do anything but have some success at the end of last year when Lou Piniella left. And how do you tell Mike Quade no at that point? I know Sandberg's obviously a huge fan. One of the best second basemen to ever play the game. But how do you just tell Mike Quade, hey, you've done a good job for us. You've been in our organization. You're in line for a big league job. You got the credentials. Let's give you a shot.
Right through the legs of Ramirez, and everybody's safe, and another run scores. That should have been the start of a double play to end the inning.
You go back and look at this play right here. Looks like it just skips on him. I think he tried to turn two before he had the baseball. Ball skips on him at the last second, ends up being an error.
And Hannigan will get an RBI because you cannot assume the double play. So Mike Leake will bat here in the bottom half of the seventh inning with an 8-2 lead. Leake came to the plate with the bases loaded. You may remember back in the fourth inning. At the time, it was only a 2-1 Reds lead. He had a base hit into right. Stubbs followed with a fielder's choice and brought in another run, and the Reds had never looked back. 2-0. Certainly not picking at the Cubs in any form or fashion, because Lord knows up until last year the Reds had a number of teams that unfortunately played the game much like this Cub team is playing it this year. Not every team, not every Reds team, but they over a 15-year run there.
Yeah,
there were a number of clubs over those 15 years.
I was on a few of those clubs.
I mean, they kicked the ball around.
Yeah. Yep.
Had a hard time pitching. But when you're struggling on defense, as it's 2-2 on Leake, I don't know if there's anything that can make a team look worse than either your defense or a bad bullpen.
Yep.
And right now for the Cubs, they're not very good on defense, and they have blown more saves than any team in the league.
Yeah, I tell you what, both of those facets of the game are really frustrating, especially when you're on those teams. You can't make plays. And you know what happens is you start making bad plays and you just continue to make those mental mistakes. You're never in the ball games. It feels like guys aren't looking ahead to where they should throw the ball. And I'll tell you what, it makes for a lot of long games. And then in turn, the pitcher thinks, okay, I got to really bear down, maybe even strike this guy out, because if they put the ball in play, they're not going to turn two for me. And it becomes a very frustrating season.
They'll come to the plate here, get one, they'll throw, and get the double play this time. So the 5-2-3 off the bat of Leake ends the inning. Reds get a run in the seventh, and the Cubs will bat in the eighth, trailing 8-2. Drew Stubbs broke a 1-1 tie in this one with his home run to right back in the third inning. Second home run in as many days for the Red center fielder.
You know, he really, going back to that home run, really caught that ball deep and just beautiful job of rocking it to right field. We talked about earlier, Stubbs, man, if he really gets going, gets that home run swing back, talking about a guy that can really generate some power and some runs in that lineup.
Well, I know many of you have been very excited about being a part of the Reds Live postgame show. You can text comments to 37664, and if you tune in after the game to Reds Live, your message might be seen on the screen right here on Fox Sports Ohio. So now Mike Leake climbs the mound here for the 8th inning. If Leake is able to record an out in this inning, that would mark a season high for the right-hander. He's gone 7 innings twice. He's allowed 9 hits. 8 of those hits came in the first 5 innings. He has struck out 2, walked 1, and hit a batter. Leake 6 outs away from his record improving to 5-2 on the year. And again, his ERA is going to look a little higher than where you'd want it to be, but that is exclusively due to the fact that he just had 2 horrid starts. 4 2/3, 6 earned runs against Arizona. 3 2/3, 7 earned against Houston. Three pitches in the game tonight from Mike Leake. His career high in that category is 108. Of course, last year when he made the jump from college right into Major League Baseball, the Reds knew before the season started that he was only going to throw so many pitches and only going to pitch so many innings. So, you know, he got off to the great start, hit a little bump in the road. The next thing you know, the Reds are, backing him up a day, skipping a turn in the rotation to make sure they protect his prized right arm. And he just felt like he was never able to get back into that groove the way he started the year.
I think this year, as far as Mike Leake goes, I think he's out to prove, hey, listen, I'm a big league pitcher. I need to get the ball every 5th day, and I'm going to give you quality innings if you let me do that.
He strikes out Carlos Pena to begin the 8th.
Well, it's a nice pitch right here. He's been pounding Pena in the whole at bat and gets a little changeup right here. Off-speed pitch, a little slider curve, a little slurve, breaking ball, and just bears down in on Pena. Tough pitch to hit right there. You go see it, and then it leaves you.
This should be the second out of the inning. And is. Two down, and now the batter is Blake DeWitt. Leake has only allowed 1 hit, and that was an infield hit by Darwin Barney on that ball back up through the middle that Brandon Phillips nearly threw him out after fielding it with his bare right hand until now. As DeWitt laces one into right field, he has 3 hits tonight.
DeWitt's really been swinging the bat well tonight. The one guy that's really been on Mike Leake and hit the ball hard a few times.
Breaking ball low and away. Giovanni Soto, and it's in there, a strike. 7:10 tomorrow night. Tickets are available. Why not come on down to the ballpark? Supposed to have another great weather night. You know, when the game starts, it's still a little bit warm with these 7:10 starts, but by the time you get to the 3rd, 4th inning, I mean, right now it is absolutely perfect out here. That ball driven down the right field line and out of play.
Nice breeze. Those flags are moving a little bit.
Yeah, they're moving a lot, those flags out there. I mean, look at those people, the hair being blown around.
Must be Jesse's fan behind me blowing that breeze on me.
You can tell they're really whipping around up there.
Look at that. Look at that breeze. Boy, it's so nice. Such a nice breezy night here in Cincy.
Tonight's a good night for driving, Case. You can jump in the car, load up on that Skyline on the way out of town, and just be on your way.
Yeah, I've made my decision. I'm going to stay the night. I think I'm staying at Nuxie's house tonight, Kim Nuxall's house. I'm going to drive home, pick up a nice large.
Did he ask you to stay over?
No, I'm just going to barge in. I'm going to see if he's up.
Nice play by Cairo. And a nice pick on the other end by Votto.
Nice pick right there.
Well, if indeed that's a final inning for Mike Leake, what a night. 8 innings of 2-run baseball. FoxSportsOhio.com. It's presented by the Ohio Department of Public Safety, reminding you to buckle up. It's a guaranteed home run every trip, every time. All right, Major League Baseball draft underway. The Reds have taken a high school pitcher out of Alhambra High School in California, Robert Stevenson. 6'2", 190-pounder. And according to some of the reports on this young man, who had a 1.19 ERA in 76 innings, struck out 142 batters. He was named the California Gatorade High School Player of the Year in California. You win that league in California, that award, you're doing something right. His fastball hits 98 miles per hour.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you're looking at the draft this year, they talked about a lot of deep arms, a lot of deep guys with some, a lot of power arms in this draft, high school and college. And for the Reds to get him, what was it, the 27th pick?
Yep.
With the 27th pick, a guy that throws that hard, California Player of the Year, all those great players out there, that's pretty awesome. The Reds can get a player of that caliber that late in the first round.
Well, here you get a look. He's a big guy. Will grow into that body at 6'2". Probably not finished growing.
Courtesy of the MLB Network. Let's throw it out there. Look at that changeup.
Bottom fell out of that. It's high school kid now.
Yeah, that's.
And by the way, not only a great athlete, a 4.12 grade point average in high school. Not bad.
That's good. That means he's studying.
How'd you do in that area?
I was like 3.3. That's good, right? It's like B+. My dad gave me some good advice at college. I don't know if it was good or bad advice. He's like, just get that diploma, get that piece of paper. I don't know if that was the way to say, do I just get by or I do really well? So I ended up.
But then you went to the University of Richmond,
which was really good.
Yeah.
I graduated college. How about that? I was one of like 17 guys at college with a degree at that point. How many years did it take you to graduate college? 6, 7?
About 27, to be honest.
27. I love it. I mean, I would have hung on to college as much as I could, but it was like old school. I was like kept going back after my big league years. I'm like 38 years old and trying to get that last 15 credits.
But you got it done. Congratulations.
I did get it done. I told my mom and dad.
In all seriousness, that is a testament to you going back. You say you promised your mom you'd do it.
3 semesters I went back. After my first year in the minors, second year in the minors, went and played in the Arizona Fall League, and after my first year in the big leagues, I went back. And the dean, I called the dean. I'm like, hey, I need to come back and finish that last semester. And he's like, well, you're late for school, like a month late. I was like, what do you want me to do? I'm in the big leagues. I'm dominating the big leagues. Let me come back. Let me come back and finish my 15 credits.
In the air, left field. 2 away. Did you really say to the dean, I'm dominating in the big leagues?
No, I said, Dean, how am I going to get my 15? How am I going to ever finish college if you don't let me come back every year? I'm in the big leagues. I'm not going to come back when I'm 30.
So you never said I'm dominating.
No, I didn't tell I was dominating the big leagues. And then he said, I can't get an A in any class. I have to start with a B because I was a month late for school. I said, whatever it takes, just give me those 15 credits.
Ball 1 to Joey Votto. Come for the Reds. Stay for more fun. Make it a home run weekend. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. Eight runs, 10 hits for the Reds. 2 runs, 10 hits for the Cubs. It appears as though the night is over for Mike Leake. Throws a career-high number of pitches in a game. Throws 8 innings tonight. Allows only 2 runs.
Brian Price is satisfied with the start that Mike Leake had. I mean, he really went out there tonight, pounded the strike zone, scattered 10 hits, only let up 2 runs, got out of some situations with some double play balls. Great job tonight by Mike Leake.
8 innings, not a career high for Leake. You may remember that series in July of last year when the Reds went toe-to-toe with the Phillies for 4 straight games, losing a couple of 1-0 games. Leake pitched 8 1/3 innings in a start against Philadelphia last summer. Inning over, so John Grabo retires aside in order. The Cubbies will bat in the ninth. It's been all Cincinnati tonight. Unbelievable play, especially when you consider who was running. That was Tony Campana, and that kid can fly.
Great play by Giannis. Knew he had to get rid of it. Got to his feet. Strong throw over to Votto. And Votto picked it up with a nice pick over there, too. He's had a couple nice picks tonight over there at first base. But Paul Giannis really made the play of the night right there.
Well, a rock-solid start tonight. No two ways about it from Mike Leake. On a night where the Reds not only needed a lot of innings, they needed good innings. And they got 8 of them from Mike Leake here tonight. He'll give way to Bill Bray. Bray's last outing, of course, came on in that disastrous 5-run Dodger 8th inning on Saturday. And with 2 on, he walked Andre Ethier, the only batter that he faced, which allowed Matt Kemp to come to the plate. And Kemp tied the game with a grand slam. 0-2 on Tyler Colby.
Well, you know, when you're in a situation like that and you're Bill Bray and you have that situation where you walk a guy, next guy comes up, hits a grand slam, you want to get back out there. You want to get back out there as quick as you can and have some success and go at the guys that you're facing so that you get that, you know, you keep your confidence rolling.
If you'd like to hear more information about the Reds' #1 draft pick, on Reds Live, our post-game edition, we'll hear from the Reds' director of amateur scouting, Chris Buckley. Had a chance to visit with the guys, and they'll bring those comments to you. Jim Day and Jeff Piccoro standing by. We're 3 outs away. On the ground to Phillips. 1 out. Well, Sean, it's been great having you back for round 2. Now, what, you have a couple more series left before the end of the year, is that right?
Yeah, a couple more series. Most of them are in Pittsburgh, but
what is that? Most of them?
All of them are.
All of them are.
All of them are. Well, you know, I just a lot of traveling and stuff, and the Castellines were nice enough to give me some of those games in Pittsburgh. And it's always fun hanging out with you, Tommy. I love coming up here.
Well, I'll see you in your hometown. You better show it off to me now. All I know is downtown. And
I'll show you some nice. I'll bring you out to my house and cook you out some hot dogs and hamburgers. How's that sound?
That sounds awesome. Be very grateful.
What, you like macaroni salad, potato salad, baked beans?
I love it all.
Corn on the cob.
Love it all.
Come on out, brother.
Love it all. I'll most appreciate.
I'll get a local cab company to come get you at the hotel. I can't afford the limo.
Are you inviting my dad to that?
Yeah, I'm inviting Marty. Yeah, he's more positive nowadays. I know he's watching tonight. Is he on tonight?
No.
Oh, well, I'd love to invite Marty. Yeah.
You
Marty?
Sure?
Yes.
All right. 1-1.
Me and your dad go way back.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
It's amazing the back and forth that you guys have with one another. It is very entertaining.
He's always great, man. Your dad's always great. He's no longer cantankerous like he used to be when I was playing. He buried me a couple times. I had to let him know. Quit burying me, Marty.
It's popped up into right field by Lou Montañez, and they're 2 away. Touchdown to their final out. But it's been great, Sean, having you with us here these last 3 ball games that we've done here on Fox Sports Ohio. It's been great having you for a number of games already this year, and then we're looking forward to many, many more.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it, man. It's great being back. I'll tell you what, it really is great being back here in Cincinnati, too, and just being a part of this organization and just, you know, seeing the guys and seeing you and Big Jess, and I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Well, you know everybody here in the town loves a man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I love everybody here in the town.
Luca Dome, 3 hits and 4 at-bats tonight.
You know what I'm going to do tonight? I'm going to get a large skyline on the way home, and I'll eat a small for you in honor of you. With a
so you're going to have a 3-way for yourself, 5-way for yourself, and large. A second for you, small 5-way for me.
And I'll eat it in honor of you.
I am touched.
I know. Hey, man, I got to do what I got to do for my friends.
Well, before we let you get away, I mean, would you buy some so you'd have it for the ride in the morning?
You know what? You got to eat it right there. You got to eat it right away.
All right.
I've been doing a new thing, though. Large 5-way with a side of chili. Then I pour the chili on top of the cheese. It's so good. Once it hits your lips. So good.
2-1 on Fukudome. And now 3 balls in a strike. Fukudome, crowd standing, anticipating the final out. And now the Reds a strike away from just that. Crowd of almost 23,000 on hand here tonight, ready to celebrate the end of this losing streak. And it's another foul ball back out of play. Reds will go back to a game over 500. They'll be an even 5 behind the idle Cardinals, who will open a series tomorrow night in Houston. Milwaukee has already defeated the Marlins. So the Brewers have won 4 in a row since leaving Cincinnati.
You know, this is a good sign tonight. Mike Leake start. I mean, the bottom line is that the Reds want to get back in it and have, you know, with 100 games to go, obviously, we've only played 60 games, but 100 games to go, your starting pitch is going to win for you. And if Volquez can come back tomorrow night, pitch with the stuff that he has and not walk guys and fill up that strike zone, Mike Leake can keep pitching the way he does with Cueto, they're going to be okay.
Well, we talked about what a pretty good role Mike Leake had been, or rather Travis Wood had been on until yesterday's game. You know, much like Mike Leake, he's had 3 bad starts and then really had a bad start yesterday, but that has not been the norm. Fly ball short left. That is that. The Reds have won it by a final count of 8-2. Sensational night for that young man, Mike Leake. Our final. Johnny Gomes knocks in 4. Mike Leake 8 innings of 2-run baseball. And the Reds go home winners. We're back with more.